Chapter 17, The City. The Alliance quickly set explosives to the wall, opening entry into the market, which was guarded by Conrad's third wave of defense, citizens. They froze as the Alliance revealed their great numbers. Alex recognized some of their faces, for they held an expression of fear that he had seen while formerly supervising their lives. Their bodies were placed behind the flimsy structures of wood and metal stands. As the Alliance moved closer, the citizens broke from their cemented state. Their resistance was far more advanced than the refugees had created, but not enough to break the Alliance's advancement. Alex barged through a wooden stand before him. The lumber smashed against the man who crouched underneath it, submerging his body under a timber avalanche. "Join us, help us beat Conrad," Alex offered, extending his hand. The man scoffed and turned to using his pistol. Before doing so, Alex struck him to the point of unconsciousness. Alex proceeded and ducked behind a second stand. Above him, a rack of clothing swayed from the earth's winds. A barrel peeked through them. With his right arm, Alex manifested a sword and slashed upward. The guns quickly retreated back. A second later, Alex's back was pelted with dots of pain. He turned and sent the perpetrator flying backwards. The onslaught on his back stole his ability to jump great distances. As citizens were rapidly cut down, the Alliance stole their cover, giving a small crevice of breathing room within the skirmish. "Get them to surrender," Alex shouted. His call was echoed by the Alliance, who mocked the citizens with imminent death if they refused to submit. The citizens ignored the proposal. The citizens continued with their raw style of attack, leaving themselves open to be killed while they aggressively advanced in an attempt to get close to the Alliance. Alex watched as the boy who had offered a truce continued to navigate the battlefield. Bullets did not hit him, and he was able to avoid the onslaught that the others around him faced. The signs of the battle ending were nowhere near a grasping point, and Alex instantly regretted his decision to not push for stronger diplomatic means. Those on both sides retaliated from the action. The citizens attempted an assault, but it was ended by the sheer force of the united invaders. Their bodies were blown to the mud within seconds, while the flesh and blood tore from their bodies. Their body count piled high while the Alliance lost few. Alex was enraged. He wanted nothing more than to strike down each and every citizen, ending their lives for their defiance. He felt trapped, wanting to kill the others. But Alex found himself turning away from the idea. It was not viable. They were not evil, just a group of people who had been treated unfairly by the collective, and now searched for revenge in the form of following Conrad's orders. The thought quenched Alex's anger, putting him in a position where he could see the enemy's side. "Join us," Alex requested. The Alliance soldiers continued to seep into the city. The citizen forces were quickly surrounded. "You've been wronged. I can make it right. Our Alliance can stop the fighting," Alex told the captured civilians. "The Hive is better than you," an adolescent boy heckled. His skin was tan, his hair curly. Alex recognized him. His parents had been killed by himself and Takio together during an investigation. His anger was justified. "It lies to you. It's not an alien." "We know. Conrad showed us the truth right away. We were happy. Then you came. The collective killed my parents like it was nothing," the adolescent claimed as he slammed his fist against the dirt. "We were wrong, and I hope to make it right. You can't get into the restricted area." "Nothing's impenetrable," David said. "There had to be more citizens than this," Lonnie said. "Where are they?" Conrad told them that a fight was coming, and if they didn't want to join, they were allowed to leave. "If you get chosen, you better be like that. You can leave too. Find a water supply, take any weapons or food you need. Just be safe. It's a dangerous world." "What? All of you who don't want to fight with us, go," Alex commanded. The captured citizens turned from the battle and fled into the forest. "In the city, the Hive is everywhere," the boy warned. Alex considered the possibility that the curly-haired boy was nothing more than a distraction to stop the Alliance from further proceeding. A brief thought of Conrad's nature killed the idea, for he had welcomed Alex's challenge. "Is this force large enough to challenge him?" David asked the boy. "I don't really think so," he answered. "Why are we taking advice from a 6-year-old? Reese pondered. "I'm 13. You look 9. "When we get into the city, move from building to building," Alex commanded. "That won't be viable. If it's everywhere, Conrad will be in each skyscraper. There won't be opportunity," David theorized. "Not unless we create it," Alex said. "You'll need a distraction," Lonnie said as he wheeled himself into an MATV. "Where can I place a second attack?" "The far right," Alex said. We'll go from the left. Once we get close to the restricted section, I can radio you and we'll meet in the middle. A few of you need to come with me. A few bodies marched forward, ready to join. You better take care of my people, Lonnie warned. I will, Alex said with a nod. The collective should have made you an officer. The bodies that volunteered remained with Lonnie and surged to the right. As Alex's battalion surged forward, the landscape slowly shifted. The heart of the city was defended by loyalists. Their skin markings showed intent to kill for Conrad. They had the will to do so, for their battle abilities were stronger than the citizens that came before. The loyalists screamed at the Alliance to stop. They complied, deciding to remain at a standstill while staring at an added gate. Alex refused to shoot, and the loyalists matching his actions ignited the idea that they not only could be turned to join the Alliance, but that they actually wanted to. We want to see who you all are. Walk forward slowly, a loyalist demanded. Do it, but keep your weapons up, Alex said. Those ahead of him listened. A few steps were taken. Wait, look to the ground, David suggested. Alex cast his eyes downward. Deep within the dirt, he spotted blinking red lights embedded within the surface. Landmines. Ahead of him, a few bodies exploded in a mountain of fire, cutting off hope of a diplomatic discussion. The opposing sides traded bullets. The loyalists had set up plasma barriers to hide behind. The Alliance end had the protection of abandoned vehicles and unoccupied tents. The flimsy material found itself torn once bullets blasted through it. Find cover, Alex called. The Alliance rapidly lost both people and ground. Alex took instant action to combat it. The animals, send them forward down the center, Alex demanded. The Amishmen gathered their horses and released them directly through the middle. As the beasts converged, their lives were ended by the explosives, clearing a path for the Alliance. Death seeped into the atmosphere. Horse body parts and debris were thrown in differing directions, trailed by smoke and shrapnel. The beasts cried in protest, becoming weary of their master's demands. Following the sacrifice, the Alliance refused to cower. They stepped onto the path, moving close enough to harbor an attack. Explosives now, Alex called. A lobbying of detonators came from the Alliance. The burst of energy scattered the Loyalist forces. The silver gate toppled, becoming a piece of twisted metal. As the last of the Alliance's beasts attempted to continue, they were killed before completing their mission. Both dog and horse collapsed before reaching their destination. The gap between the Alliance and Loyalist was almost nothing. The two groups stood on equal footing. Both groups had snipers who picked one another off with slow but consistent accuracy. Bravery came from each side. Neither had members retreating. The Alliance jumped over the mammal bodies, becoming careful not to step foot on the ground. David was one of the few who led the charge. His masterful footwork was copied. Aim for the ground, David suggested. Once bullets hit the ground, it was found that they were able to discharge the remaining mines. Mekas in the air, Alex commanded. The Loyalists' attention diverted to the sky, allowing the ground troops to experience a shred of relief. The Mekas desperately maneuvered in avoidance of bullets. They were only able to do so for a short time. They fell to the earth as their wings were clipped quickly. Down, down, Alex called. From his cannon, he continuously blew cool ice and spread blazing fire, maiming Loyalist defenses. The Loyalists began to break. Their backs were shot while trying to retreat, their slaughtered bodies crashing to the ground. Keep going, Alex heeded. He placed his hand forward and sent a cool blast of air towards an approaching enemy. He followed the act by pulling a Loyalist towards him, knocking him unconscious with his metal arm. Alex took multiple hits. His golden metal armor had been carved with dents, marks that would have killed him without his shell. The damage forced him into slower movements, as his symbiosis with the mecha had lowered in quality. A harsh force collided with Alex's back, sending him stumbling forward. Great, Alex complained. He wheeled around and swept a continuous circular beam behind him. Look out, a voice shouted. The call was too late. Alex's beam struck the enemy's hand. They screeched in pain as their body was revealed. The previously invisible Loyalist was draped in the same outfit that Alex had seen within the island. An all-black covering with the exception of a glowing blue glove wrapped around their right hand. While observing, Alex was kicked in the ribs. The injured man disappeared, bit the drippings of blood from its wrist, his agonizing whimper revealing his location. Alex released a push from his magnet. The tumbling outline of a body imprinted itself within the earth 3 times. Alex was punched again. He aimlessly slashed his sword and hit a body. It had etched itself into the Loyalist's skin. They flashed between visibility as the Loyalist perished. Alex released the corpse and returned his attention east. A great weight descended onto his neck. The familiar sensation of being pinned down rapidly came upon him. To escape, Alex thrust his magnet to the earth, allowing him to divert left. The foot that crushed him slipped. He released 2 shots of plasma. The first missed, the second hit, ripping through the Loyalist's heart. Its feet matched the weapon of its brother. Blue dots appeared where its toes ended. Alex rose and the Loyalists decimated those who refused an offer of ceasefire, fighting until their last breaths. Alex killed the last one, a Loyalist whose mecha suit had various small holes on his back, arms, torso, and legs. The circles projected small jets, allowing him to navigate the field with tenacity. Alex attempted to pull the enemy inward. The enemy's body did not comply. Alex could feel that his magnet lacked the power to shift the heavy metal. He forced himself near Alex. As a countermeasure, Alex shot his plasma stream forth. The enemy dodged with ease, and as he got close, lifted his hand and spat fire. Alex exerted cool air. The forces of nature clashed. The flames licked past Alex's defense, dwindling his cash. Alex dove to the right. Once he did, the flames engulfed his former position, some of them managing to burn his arm. He crashed to the ground, hauled his suit upright, and sent a blast of plasma directly into the firebearer's heart. Alex's arm taunted him with pain. His connection had been severed. Not only had he been damaged, but when he glanced at his forces, it was clear that they had been reduced to half. "Alex, stand up. Zone 6 is ours for the taking," David encouraged. "It'll take 5 minutes tops," Reese said. His eyes turned toward Zone 6. It looked barren, but Alex knew in reality it crawled with enemies, placing fear within him that they would be reduced from half of their original alliance to nothing. "Forward," Alex commanded. Between the ranks of perished Loyalists, a small group of vehicles was left unattended. Reese took command of an MATV. Alex sat within the passenger seat. David placed himself as gunner. Prior to departing, Alex sifted through the fallen, searching for Takeo's hulking figure amongst the deceased. Across the field, both Loyalist and Alliance looked the same. Their bodies remained still on the ground, never to speak again. Alex found nothing. The group moved forward with caution. Their eyes often darted to the ground in search of landmines. They spread thin and entered each building with careful observation on what was within it. Those within vehicles trailed behind, only opting to move forward when the area ahead had been confirmed clear. The force moved with a slowed pace, as rushing would leave them sloppy. Conrad's dying essence spread throughout the urban scenery. His vile insides had gathered on the ground and low points of walls. Much of it existed in the form of hardened gray. A small amount was slimy green. Some areas were in the midst of its crystallization. Through his paranoia, Alex called for an extra incentive once they reached the former military residency. As a response, the Alliance picked up rubble and chucked it outward. A rock thrown farther than the others skirted a few bounces and deflected backwards once it hit the illusion of open space. A hexagon panel suddenly appeared, then vanished as quick as it came. "Throw others," Alex requested. The group halted and threw a cascade of rubble towards the invisible wall. Additional sparks revealed themselves, paired with the emergence of more hexagons. As the debris continuously smashed against the invisible wall, brief glimpses of what lay ahead slowly revealed itself. The shapes of Conrad's forces stood together in waiting. They were of the Hive, controlled and unmoving. Then they advanced. To the right side, a large portion was in the midst of departure, leaving to meet with Lonnie's distraction, giving the Alliance a slight chance. A sudden burst of both plasma and lead bullets came from the empty space that refused to fully reveal the other side. "Behind the buildings, go," Alex guided. The rapidness of enemy fire emitted incredible strength, slaughtering the members of the Alliance who ran behind the structures in a desperate bid for cover. Alex dashed off his passenger seat and forced himself left, followed by a small group of Alliance members alongside David. "Back, keep going back," Alex called through his radio signal. Alex followed his own orders. As he ran, he was crushed under a great pile of metal. His slow loss of connection to the mecha forced him to move using brute strength. The interior of the darkened building he ran through was illuminated through a thin sliver of light from an Alliance member ahead. The flashlight attachment strapped onto his weapon allowed small areas of the building to be seen. On both sides of the building was a long desk. The desk glass remained intact. The floor was made of checkered tile. Most of it was broken, rusted, and littered with dirt. The assault from Conrad stopped, but the advancement of his feet continued. Fight against me, find a way, don't disappoint, Conrad's voices called. Stop, Alex commanded as he froze his retreat. Break the glass. Those within the building ran to both sides, shattered the glass, and hopped over the elongated wooden desks. It was revealed that on the other side of the material, black monitors had been placed underneath. Screens which had once been used to watch the remainder of the building had been relegated to uselessness. The shuffle of feet stopped from all ends of the battle. Alex knew what it meant. Conrad's technology was failing him, giving an opening to act. Cheers rained from the Alliance soldiers outside. They were cut short by gunfire. Conrad had quickly recovered. Keep under your cover. You're reckless. Disappointment unworthy, Conrad mocked. His legion was growing closer. Their shadows took a sudden presence within the entranceway, then dripped into the building with a lethal supply. I am near choosing. You are no longer one, forgotten, exterminated, a failure, Conrad informed. His voices echoed against one another as opposed to being in perfect synchrony. Conrad's forces brought a heaping of white light across the room, which made the white visible. On it was the collective's blue circle. Within the middle, Conrad's W marking was etched in gold. My city, my people, not be yours. The message came not only from inside, but distant voices within the exterior. Hey, David whispered. From his hand, he withdrew a second EMP grenade. David stood and smashed the weapon into the middle of the Hive's forces. While he did so, Alex pulled the Hive forces inward. Conrad yelped, then screamed. His bodies met the tiles below. An influx of hardened gray burst from them. The lights that he provided shut off, turning the room back to its dark origins. How many did you make? There's 2 left. Reese is equipped with the other, David revealed. Hit the entrances. The Hive bodies on the outskirts of the initial burst stiffened. Unable to reach for their weapons, the Alliance made their attack. Good, use your soldiers, Conrad said while he sent forth additional bodies into the building. Keep fighting. Alex called into his radio as a path to boost morale. He blasted ice towards the approaching Hive. His desired result was not met, his arm only projecting chilling wind. Weakness brushed within him as the connection to his makeshift suit vanished. He collapsed onto the ground under the metal weight. He groveled with regret as he realized the cause of his sickness came from David's invention. As the Hive jumped over the desks, Alex's connection to his suit reignited, allowing him to cross his arms in defense as a Hive fist crawled its way towards his helmet. Kill it, Alex called. Those who remained inside followed his will and sent shots towards Conrad's failing bodies. Join me, the south, my building, Conrad's bodies called weakly. Those that crawled inward were killed by outside turret fire. Alex's eyes ravaged past the entrance and met with the origin of Conrad's fall. Reese remained in his MATV. He remained in expert control over the vehicle. His right hand was stiff on the wheel, while his left was in constant movement, shifting between gears. In the back seat, an Amishman spread turret fire. The car was subject to attack, but due to evasive handling, the bullets missed their target. Yes, Alex called. Then, seeing streams of plasma heading in his direction, he screamed, Reese, back! Reese opted to listen. Stay slow, Alex cautioned, making sure that he did not repeat the same mistake of approaching Conrad too swiftly. I have chosen, my replacement will arrive, Conrad revealed. As Alex emerged from his building, Reese's car stopped next to him after it crafted an impressive skid across the concrete, forming a cloud of dust. The Amishman that controlled the turret had been killed. The Alliance tried to move forward, but once they got close enough to the wall, they found that they were unable to get past it and perished as a result. The skirmish quieted. Nope, Reese told David as he attempted to hop inside the car. Excuse me, David asked. Sorry, Manners, may you please take your feet and entire body out of my car? You require a gunner. Not where I'm going. Where would that be? Alex asked. The restricted zone, it's here now, he said. I can't believe you figured that out before I did, David groaned. How do you know? Alex asked. These things called eyes, Reese stated, pointing to the right where a silver dome with a long antenna resided. An object that was not within the city when Alex was last there. If we take it out, what does it mean? Alex asked. The true nature of the city will be revealed, David said. We're too late, Alex said as his ears became attuned to Conrad's message. Not yet. That's Conrad's pattern of speech, David said. The Alliance had been dwindled down to less than 50 voices. A head-on assault would be their downfall. A change in strategy was necessary. It's along this line, Alex asked. Of course it is, Reese said. I was asking David. For one of the first times he's right, David said. You mean the 6th time, Reese shot back. I was right about where the hub was. That was a false hub, Alex corrected. Okay, 5 times. What's your plan? Alex asked. Just watch and learn, Reese said. David attempted to open the car door, finding that it was stuck. After this, both of you go get a life, Reese said as the car surged forward, breaking free from the restraints on conversation. The car rammed forward. Conrad's forces shot at the vehicle. The car dashed both left and right with power only one with a clear mind could possess. Within seconds, it forced itself into the shield generator. An explosion came from it. The invisible tiles ahead collapsed. The camouflage disappeared and a blue beam found its footing within the grave of Reese's sacrifice.